What's going on, guys? Welcome to another webcam chat with me, Barry, and I'm joined today with
Holy! Welcome to the WWT commentary.
right video, visual. We're so bad at this.
I should play. I know. Look at that. Look, I gotta get, like shine. Gotta like change my lights.
to
A
get a
little forehead
softbox.
glare.
Yeah. Yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about "Talk to Me." Yeah, the 2023 released by a YouTube channel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
this. I believe they're like Australian or New Zealand. Oh man, I feel like people are gonna get mad that I got that wrong.
There is an accent, so yes.
Right. um. Let's just do. So before we get into talking about what our points or our views on the movie, let's just do a quick overview of what the movie's about. It's spoilers if you haven't seen it. Make sure to see it. It's probably one of the better horror films that came out this year.
Yeah, actually, it was I just saw it this week, and it was pretty good. It was way different than I expected.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think it's safe to say it's probably like one of the best possession movies I've seen in a really long time,
mm-hmm.
right? But the movie does start off with a guy going to a party looking for his brother. He ends up finding his brother, but there's something wrong with him. Then he gets stabbed, and then the brother stabs himself. Right,
Yes.
just a very early view of the beginning, and then in the movie we get introduced to Mia, who is attending the second year death anniversary of her mother.
Right. Yep.
Right, this is gonna be a really shallow overview of this movie because I want you guys to watch it more in depth, right? But she ends up hearing about like this possession party, which first of all I wouldn't go to.
I totally would go to that. Oh, it's like, hey everybody, I got a Ouija board
Yes, I'm not there. I'm
from
not there
from
either.
my grandpa's like basement, or something.
It's made from the wood of thousands of years ago, and it was blessed by shaman. No, I'm all right. But no, she ends up what's it called. She ends up getting a call from Riley, who is her friend's brother, and this is like the family that she sort of adopted for herself because she seems to
Yeah,
be disconnected from her father, right? And so like she ends up trying to guilt trip her best friend into going to this possession party. They end up going, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll try it," because they all think it's like BS until
right.
she,
But everybody thinks it's BS, but they're also all a little scared to do it.
oh yeah. They're like, you see, like, cause like me, I'm more like, I don't believe in it, but I wouldn't take it out of the equation, so I wouldn't even be at that party, right? I'd just be like, oh, that's crazy. I'm not going there. But they're there. They're like, well, what if it is real? I want to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she ends up doing it. She ends up getting possessed for a little bit over 90 seconds, which is like the rule that they have for each other, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I'm sorry.
Because you can grab the hand, you can say, talk to me, and then you can see who's going the spirit that's going to talk to you. And then you have to invite the spirit into you for like the fun to begin.
Yeah, the fun to begin. Yeah, and then you say, "Let me in," and then the spirit possesses you,
Right.
right? So the rules are very bare. It's like they light a candle, you hold the hand, you say, "Talk to me," I let you in, and then after 90 seconds, you gotta stop, or else they'll want to stay.
You blow out the candle and it closes the door.
Yeah, and yeah, that's how it's like with the Ouija board. You're supposed to always say goodbye no matter what to close the door.
Yeah.
And so she ends up going a little bit over 90 seconds, but after they get the hand off of her, they're like, "Oh, how was it?" And she's like, "That was dope."
It was awesome.
But it freaks Riley out because like while Mia's possessed, the ghost is like, "Oh yeah, they like you." it's like an episode of what's it called? Scared Straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after the ghost totally just violates Riley during that session. um what's it called? He ends up having a bad night. He wants to sleep with somebody, but his sister is like, "No, I'm okay."
Um, yeah, he's a kid. Something freaky like that happens. You don't you be in bed alone.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so he has a night with
And mom works nights, so it's
yeah.
mom's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want to sleep with your mom. Like it's less embarrassing sleeping on the floor of your sibling's bedroom.
Because either way, it's gonna look majorly weird.
Right.
But no, he spends the night with me on the couch, and the next morning, Jade's boyfriend wants to do it,
Yeah.
and so they go to the duo that has the hand, and they make a plan to have a possession party, and so they end up having like this possession thing party going on. First, the boyfriend tries it, and he like makes out with the dog, and it's super.
Yes. Yeah. He's super embarrassed. He's all like, "Good, delete the film." Because of course that's the whole thing is people are like acting like idiots because they're possessed. So they're like the two guys who are kind of running the party are like filming everything and throwing it up online
Yeah. But then they have like a whole
as they
montage.
should.
Yeah. But then they have a whole montage of like everyone getting possessed,
Yeah.
and until the end, Riley wants to try it.
Right. It's what Riley and his friend, but they're both like
14,
12.
15,
Yeah.
something. They're like pretty. They're like substantially younger than the Riley and Jade. And Jade, being a good sister, she's just like, no, you can't. You can't do it.
Right. Like you're not 18, so you can't do it.
I mean, they're not even 18. I think that's what he said. Um, but Mia's like, it's fine. Like, let him do it for 50 seconds or something like that. So they have a huge disagreement. And then Mia ends up letting Riley do it. And this is where, like, the movie takes a turn.
Yeah, 'cause he 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 does not do well with it.
No, at first he's like, when he says talk to me, he gets surprised by the ghost.
Right.
And then Mia's like, it's okay, just let him in. And then it turns out the ghost that possesses him is like the mother of Mia. And even though they had said like 50 seconds, Mia's like, no, you have to let him have it a little bit longer. I need to talk to my mom.
Right. Selfish.
Yeah. Un- until like something happens, and then
Oh my god.
Riley just absolutely obliterates himself.
Right. Yeah, like there's like a little switch. Like apparently whoever he's possessed by like has switched
Yeah. It is.
because
Yeah, he starts slamming his head into the desk, starts to try to pull his eye out, which I think he does.
yeah, it's pretty graphic. I'm not sure if he gets it out, but he definitely is trying hard.
Gets a good squeeze on it.
Yeah.
Mia, oh no, Jade is able to save him from almost like finishing him off by using her hand to block his face. Which again, a good sister, you know?
Oh yeah.
And so like so obviously Riley has to go to the hospital, the police come, Jade has to tell her mom what happened. And so now Mia's like sort of ostracized from their family because well, Jade's mom think like she's already known Mia to have taken drugs before.
sure that was like a coping thing. Like, hey, my mom passed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna, yeah, I need something to change the feeling in my head.
yeah. Which I mean,
But
I think the mom also like understands.
right, right. But certainly she's like, well, you're the one that I know that has taken stuff before, and now Riley has very much looked like OD'd.
Yeah, geeked out on something stronger
Yeah.
than marijuana.
Right. So it's like, yeah, you can't come back to my house because you apparently gave my kid something that
Yeah. And so
has seriously messed him up.
yeah, but now Mia's like seeing ghosts. Mia's seeing ghosts without the hand. And then so like we're gonna wrap it up on this like sort of just a plot overview so you guys can watch the rest of the movie. But I mean that's this movie's only an hour and 30 minutes. It's pretty short. Almost like a full moon production. Uh but
It's
yeah,
intense, so it doesn't like fly by. Like it seems like a hearty movie.
yeah, it does. But like I think what that sort of kind of for me at least is what I have an issue with it being like that is that I feel like the rewatchability for me is a little bit lower than some
Mm.
things because like for the tone of the movie it is pretty serious throughout.
Right, yeah.
And so what you know and then plus like there's not really too much lore that's given. I mean, it's very brief when they ask I think his name is Jojo. They're like
Right.
they ask for an
It's,
overview. And he's like, "Yeah, it's like
it's
the hand of a dead person."
it's a medium's hand that could use to talk to the dead. So when he died, they cut off his hand and put it in porcelain, and you
And,
could still use it to talk to the dead.
yeah, yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's about the extent of the lore. Yeah.
which I mean, it's probably good for the movie that they don't really delve too deep into it.
Right, right.
Which I feel like a lot of horror films they tend to do. I think it was like the
It
Polaroid
ruins a
movie
little bit of the magic sometimes when you talk too much, when
about
you give something too much explanation.
yeah. I mean, there's portions of that section where I think his name is Daniel wants to know where the hand is from. He's like, yeah, the other hand might be somewhere else in the world.
Right. No, exactly. Yep.
Well, so like I don't am I safe to assume that the medium's hand was probably a female? Because I always feel like every time I see these like horror films, it's always like a female medium, not like a man.
Oh, I just assumed it was a man, but once you said that, yeah, typically when you go to talk to somebody about the dead, it's
It's a woman.
but yeah.
Unless you're in Final Destination, then it's Tony Todd.
And this was way not big enough to be Tony Todd's hand.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I was like in my head, I was like, if this was a man's hand, does that mean that somewhere in the world, his dick is is it casted into porcelain?
I'm not sure that's necessarily a psychic organ.
Yeah, but like the way he could stand on the table is like this. Okay. All right. Sorry, I let the 13-year-old in me come out for a bit. All right, but so the points I do want to talk about is at the beginning of the movie when Mia picks up Riley, they're singing their hearts out to Australia's beloved Sia,
Right. Yep.
right? They come across a Joey, I believe is what they call them,
Well, yeah, like a little baby kangaroo.
and she couldn't kill it. Which I don't know as much. I feel like it's much more cruel not to put it out of its misery.
Right. Really. It was like you got to kill it because it's in pain. It's suffering. Don't
Yeah.
just leave it here in the road.
Yeah, do you think that's sort of indication of maybe what Mia's like thoughts or headspace is like? What did you think? Because I feel like that was supposed to mean something, and you know me, I love slasher flicks. It's just much more less thinking, more running.
I I, I just thought it was like that she was just like she wasn't able to kill it.
Yeah, she's like a
But then
soft-hearted person.
yeah, but then I never really it never popped back into my head, so it never felt like it tied to anything like it was trying to preemptively tell you.
Yeah, well, because I mean, the kangaroo does show up later in the film, and it's like,
Yes, it does, but my brain didn't connect it again.
you're just like, it's
I was
Australia.
just like that it's kangaroo in the hospital. That's weird. It's got bloody feet. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, your head was just like
Yeah,
it's.
my brain never put those two.
I thought
I
it's.
need to watch. I needed to watch this a second time.
I thought it was because your brain was like, it's Australia. I think they're just all over the place.
Right? Yeah, of course. There's kangaroos in the hospital. They're like emotional support animals.
um. Also, like, what did you think about the dependent relationship that Mia has with Jade and Riley's like family?
I totally could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I growing up, I had like a friend that his dad was gone, and once his dad left, he probably ate dinner at my house 5 nights a week. My parents were, like I was an only child, and my parents were like, "Hey, we just got like two kids for the next 4 years." Until kind of like high school, and once he got a car and job and stuff, everything kind of like, you know, that interdependence kind of thing went away. But yeah, no, I totally understand. Like you lost your mom, and your dad is in like weird headspace, and your best friend's mom is super cool, and she's just like, come over here
Yeah.
anytime you need anything, come over here, this is your second house.
Yeah, especially because I feel like if they've been best friends since they were little, then the mothers probably knew each other, were probably friends as well. And so maybe she had felt like Jade's mom had felt like, oh well, like you still need like a motherly figure to talk to and stuff, and I could be that for you. But then but then later, like Jade, maybe it's something out of anger when they're at the bus station,
Right.
but she's like, I really hate how you weaseled your way into my family. Do you think that was like maybe
I,
that's something that she has been kind of stewing on?
I don't didn't get that. To me, it was just when you are mad at somebody because she's the one. She was like, "Don't, no, my brother can't do it." And then once she left the room, she was like, "Yeah, Riley, yeah, only half the time, but yeah, you could do it."
Yeah,
And then this happened. So it was that I don't know, like the inner betrayal. Like you went behind my back, and then something really bad happened, and then we didn't do it as a together like we usually do things.
yeah. I think it's one of those things that it's like, well, like you are like family, but you're not
Right.
because it's like what's it called? Crossing like a boundary,
Right. Right.
and like it's like my culture. It's like the same thing. Like everybody's an aunt or uncle, everybody's a cousin, but there's also like a common sense thing where like this is the line. All right, like you're like an uncle or you're like an older cousin or older brother to my little brother or my little sister, but you don't make those decisions. Which yeah, I think it was like one of those moments where I was like Mia like really did cross the line there because she even like says it during the argument, like you don't have to be such a b word about everything, Riley.
Right. Yes, I guess I kind of look at it like I'm a stepdad.
Yeah.
So like 90% of the time I feel like I'm dad,
Yeah.
but there yeah, like when it comes to like punishments and stuff, it's like I'm going to sit you down while your mom talks to you because you're technically not of my blood, so punishment has to still come from mom, you
Yeah,
know.
and it's like it's less hurtful. I feel like you understand this. It's less hurtful when you understand the situation, and like you know where you at. You know where you stand at,
Right.
right? Yeah. So yeah, I think it was just one of those moments where I feel like all right, Mia does cross the line a little bit at certain times, which is yeah,
Yeah, and like you're saying, like she felt like she was family there,
yeah.
and she just like overstepped.
Yeah, overstep. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. What do you? How do you think, or what do you think about the dad withholding the letter that Mia's mom had left before she committed?
Um, That's interesting. Like as a parent of when your co-parent has committed, you would have to decide
Yeah,
how you thought that was going to affect the child. Are they old enough? Are they gonna, maybe if she's what 16, 17 now, at if it was 2 years ago, she was 14, maybe you're like, oh, at 14, this isn't appropriate to redo her. I'll wait till she's 18 to like pass, kind of thing. And then she's now 16. And
yeah,
so and she's hearing about it. So you're like,
yeah, yeah. It's rough, but I feel like a lot of the turmoil that Mia had been feeling the whole time. I think maybe if it was me, like I've never been a parent, but I think like after the 6 months, 6 to months to one
she
year,
definitely
like I
was
would be
like,
like we got to go to therapy
she didn't
and maybe
really
talk to
know.
your therapist
And
about it. Like
I
you
get
know, my
when it
kid,
happens when you're
they're
14, like
doing
you're
this, they're
still young
feeling
enough
this
that you're
way.
like,
Should
I
I
don't want to
divulge this letter?
believe
Because
that
I feel
that's
like
what
maybe Mia,
happened.
like Mia
So
in her head
I
was
will
just
embellish the
what's it called? She
story
was just
that I
coming
have
to
in my head so
conclusions
that
about what happened.
it makes more sense. Because like sometimes like like unaliving yourself, like people around you don't understand what was in your head, especially like a kid, like a mom to a kid. She's not going to open up that darkness to her child where her husband may have much more better understood because she talked to him because he was an adult. But
Yeah.
like as a child, like the child, you're like, I'm always got to be happy mom around you, and then it makes it even more like un- unfathomable when it happens.
Yeah, because I feel like I think like media is doing a better representation of this, where they're trying to depict parent, like when a child sees a parent, it almost feels like that's like a parent, but then like the kids also forget that their parents are also like adults that have their own issues, because like the dad might have known that like his wife had always been battling depression,
Yeah,
and that's something that Mia might have never known about. A lot of parents like to shield their kids from stuff like that.
right. And I'm yeah. What amount of shielding is the most appropriate? Because like yeah, like even if it's like a divorce, like if you and your husband and wife fight in front of the kid all the time, that's bad for the kid.
Yeah,
But if you do it behind closed doors all the time and then you eventually get divorced and the kid's like, you guys always seem so happy. I don't understand how love works because I didn't realize there was anything wrong, and now you guys are splitting up. Just destroying the family because you were perfect together because that's all I saw.
All right, so for
So like what how much do you divulge?
all right, so for people out there, you fight half behind closed doors, then half in public.
Just don't not excessive in front of the kid.
Yeah,
That'll mess him up too.
it's like ice cream. All right, not before dinner. um, so obviously for this movie, is pretty evident that the possession thing is just a metaphor for drugs,
Yeah.
right? Because
Really, yeah,
it's
it really
really
could be.
yeah, because this is sort of like I feel like as of late, maybe like the past like 5 6 years, a lot of people have been using horror as a medium to talk about other issues. Like I know like Midsommar had a whole bunch of messages that I was too dumb to understand.
Never go to Finland.
Or-
Don't fall in love with hippies. Yeah, probably not the messages that they meant.
I, I know, and this is also like within that same realm too, because this is dealing with a whole bunch of grief, untreated grief,
Right.
and all that stuff. So those portions are like, yeah, like I think it was smart though because it's what like when was the last time you saw like a really good possession movie? It's like The Exorcist and then whatever.
Yeah.
And there's been like a dozen, more than a dozen between now and The Exorcist one. Uh,
Yeah, but you're right. It is a difficult thing to do well.
yeah, because it's easy to go over the top,
Right.
and if you're gonna go over the top, you really gotta go into B movie horror, like
Right. Yeah, and usually if it's a possession movie, the movie is revolving around the exorcism to get rid of the demon.
yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, The Exorcist of Emily Rose was really good." Um,
Right, right.
Also, people are gonna talk about obviously the Evil Dead trilogy series. Where does that count as possession? I think it does. but it's so,
Yeah.
but it's so over
Or
the
that's an
top.
over the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you get forgiven for, especially the things that they say. It's always like the funniest thing to me. Yeah, and then like let's go ahead and talk about the ending. So one, I
So
wanted to.
this will definitely be the point where spoilers are happening.
Oh, so one, I have to ask you: does Jade push Mia into incoming traffic, or does Mia throw herself off into incoming traffic?
That went through my head a lot. And um, I didn't like, yeah, I didn't on this one. Like I said, I just watched it, so I didn't go through and watch other people's reviews and other people's ideas.
Yeah,
But just from watching it, I, man, I feel like she got pushed.
yeah, like that's it's rough, right? Because I wanted to believe that all right, maybe she pushed herself with the whole like kangaroo situation and something like that. But then like a lot of people will say like, well, okay, well this time she is going through with the whole kangaroo situation. So I like that they left it up, or maybe they clarified it. I don't know.
To me, it left it very much for interpretation.
Yeah, I mean I've seen some people talk about it like they go frame by frame. It looks like Jade pushes Mia off, but then like you only see Jade going there and you don't see the action of it. because like towards the end, like what's it called? The possession seems like after they talk to the guy from the beginning of the movie, he says, "Just keep Riley away from the hand, and then the possession should get weaker and weaker, and then leave him." You got to talk into the mic.
Yes, yeah, they said, yeah, that it should eventually just go, like you said, drug addiction.
Uh-huh.
You,
Oh yeah, keep.
you just don't take that drug, and eventually,
It,
you have the DTS, and then it's gone.
yeah. It's yeah, and then what's it called? And then so like it seems like Jade had started to sort of not forgive Mia completely, but she's like they're talking. She's like, "Hey, listen, it looks like Riley's getting better."
She did mention that.
Yeah, but Mia
So
is so deep. She's so deep in the possession well. There's a lot of things that we haven't covered, obviously, but yeah, just know that she is so deep into it that there's just no coming out of it now. But yeah, I don't wanna make a decision if she had gotten possessed or she had gotten pushed or not. I think in my head I wanted to believe that she threw herself off.
right, and then it was like, or was it the possessed thing tried to take her, and that kind of like tried, I don't know.
Oh, like the ghost was like, I'm gonna get somebody.
Well, right, like I'm gonna push, because sometimes you get that, like, that storyline where it's like, this is possessed, but if we fake that we're gonna kill it, the the possess like the spirit inside will possess you, so that
Mm,
it doesn't die with the. So if she was like, I'm gonna fake possess, throw Riley into the road, and then the spirit like grabs onto her, and then she falls into the road, then she could take it,
take it
sacrifice
instead.
herself to save him.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so like yeah, we do get a shot of like the people that are on the road and then the body hits hits the car and
Yeah.
then Mia wakes up and it's sort of like a very very like jump cut almost like for Mia cuz she's on the road and then all of a sudden she's in the hospital. Uh we see her dad survived when she had attacked her dad and
Yeah, because earlier she had stabbed her dad inadvertently.
yeah.
It seemed, but like tricked into stabbing her dad,
Yeah.
kind of a.
And then all of us she's left into darkness and then all of a sudden we see a light illuminate the darkness and then she sees a hand over the candle and now we're like in Portugal or Greece or something.
Yes, definitely not an English speaking.
Yeah, but then they're like in English they do say talk to me and then the movie cuts to darkness.
That was a fantastic ending.
Oh yeah.
I
it
can't picture an ending better than that.
this movie kind of also felt like a like very Twilight-ish, like Twilight Zone.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because I was in my head, I was like, this is gonna end up like she's gonna end up in the with the hand being in limbo or whatever realm those spirits are in, and she's gonna end up getting talked to.
Hey, but if it was in Portugal, is that the other hand?
Oh, see that's what I also was wondering, right? Because I was like, well, how does that hand get from Australia to Portugal? And
Right.
again, like it could have been if it was a guy, I don't know. Uh, Kobe, let's rate this movie. I want to see where your rating is at for this movie. 1 out of 10.
Hi. This is, I mean, not necessarily perfect, but man, we're like 9.5 on this. This was really good. It was a really good possession movie. Like you said, I wish it was like a little bit longer, but it held you. It held me captivated the entire time. Didn't have any boring spots.
Yeah.
The acting was really
Oh
really
yeah.
spot on. There was nobody who was like, oh, they're
Yeah.
just phoning it in.
Yeah. Nobody really felt like that. I think I would give this an 8 out of 10. I would have just liked a little bit more. I don't know what more I would have liked. Cause like you said, like if you give too much, then it's like eh. But then like I don't know. I just wanted it to be maybe like an hour 45 instead of the hour. I think hour and 28 minutes that it was. I think there's something more they could have added in there. I don't know what though. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely wrong. This is a pretty serious movie, and we're the least serious movie guys I know.
Yeah, there was no parts where because there's lots of movies where I watch and then I'm like afterwards I was like, I wish they gave me a little more of this. They gave me some breadcrumbs and I wanted a whole sandwich. You know, everything here I felt was proportioned just right.
Oh yeah, right. Everything is like pretty.
And then and I have no problem with a with an ending that is strong, even if it's not necessarily explained, because that's half of our channel is discussing movies that like are like, what did they really mean by this? Or
Yeah, I think this movie would have it would have been really topped off really well if Jeffrey Combs was in it. You know what I mean? That's an actor I feel like doesn't get enough of the spotlight in the horror community,
it's yeah.
right? You'll always hear about like Robert Englund, the many actors who played Jason. Who's the main one? Is Kane Hodder? Yeah. Who's also Hatchet?
He's at least the most well-known one, right? And he did also
Yeah.
didn't he also do Hatchet?
Yeah, Hatchet.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like I feel like, and obviously Bruce Campbell is like a horror icon, but Jeffrey
right.
Combs, he's the underdog of the horror. Reanimator, freaking
I, he
Frighteners,
is yeah, he's quite a diverse actor.
right? Castle Freak.
Um, he played like 16 different parts in Star Trek.
Oh, we might have to do a month on him.
Yeah, yeah. I do like him.
He was like,
He's one of those people who are like, "Oh, he's in it? Yeah, okay, I'll watch."
oh man, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode for the webcast and all that stuff. And let us know what else you guys want us to watch. Do podcast movie months on.
Absolutely. Like we've been doing the podcast for a few years. It's sometimes it's hard to come up with themes and ideas and movies and uh so we kind of scrape the barrel sometimes. It's not always the best, but it's always good.
Yeah, it's always. I'm pretty sure at least 2 to 3 of the movies you probably never heard of. And that's probably why our podcast isn't as popular.
Underrated movies. Underrated.
Movies.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
Bo, hey, we're on YouTube. Easy to throw comments
Oh yeah.
below. That's the easiest way here on YouTube. But certainly follow, our socials or our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
TikTok. Right
Yeah.
now for Halloween we're doing 31 movies of recommendations. And
Great.
right?
I got the even days. Bear's got the odd.
Yeah.
So make sure you like all the even days at least. So
But all right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry,
this is Colby.
and this is the WWT Commentary Channel.